Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan, and thank you for joining us for our weekend weather update and the outlook for next week, recorded on Friday, June the 9th. We've had a lot of high pressure across New Zealand and Australia, but stormy weather in the Southern Ocean is affecting the southern states of Aussie, and it's moving across to the southern part of New Zealand. Not so much as a storm, but just the weather's moving along. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. If you live in Wanaka at the moment, the inversion layer this week making for a very depressing, gloomy week in one of the most beautiful parts of the country. Low cloud and fog trapped for 2 or 3 days now, and temperatures not really climbing very much above 3 or 4 or 5 degrees. So cold weather down there because of the high locking it in, but this windier weather is about to move through this weekend. That should push away that low cloud and fog through places like Wanaka, and you'll start to see, generally speaking, a lift in the temperatures as those winds start to move in. No real change for the North Island. The offshore low still creating a windy sou'easter if you're around Gisborne and East Cape area. And over in Australia, the windiest weather down around Tasmania, Bass Strait, and the southern parts of Victoria and South Australia. So let's move on into the rainfall forecast for the next 3 days. And it's really the opposite ends of New Zealand that have got the wet weather. The northeastern corner and the southwestern corner. Not a huge amount of rain for either of them. The rain up here tapering off, only another 20-25 millimetres coming through for the next 3 days. I know that's still more than you want, but it's not a huge amount. And further down in the South Island, most of the rain is in Fieldays, only a few showers making it into Southland. Over in Australia, much drier, just a few showers coming down the Queensland and New South Wales coastlines, not much though at all. Most of the wet weather on the western side of Tasmania. So let's take a look at the forecast right through till the end of next week, and we're seeing high pressure in Australia dominate, and high pressure over New Zealand also dominate. The offshore low still driving in some areas of rain/showers for parts of Gisborne, East Cape and northern Hawke's Bay. The showers basically disappear as you head towards Wairarapa Upper. Mostly dry, but you can see that northwest wind lifting up. That should push away that fog, but also you got that showery weather arriving in Fiordland coming off from that windy westerly passing over Tasmania. As we get to Sunday, in come the westerlies, so definitely seeing a lift in temperatures overnight, and probably your daytime highs a little bit as well. Light winds still in most other places. The offshore low still there, still driving in a few showers, maybe around Mahia Peninsula northwards. High pressure dominates Australia, except for over in Western Australia where the next cold front comes in. And by Monday, that cold front pretty much south of Australia, most of the continent dry, just a few showers along the western side and the eastern side there, but not much. And over in New Zealand, it's a bit of a change because we're not really under that high anymore, but we're still near the low. So you've got a bit of windy weather going through, but mostly a southerly flow, a bit of a brisk southerly, bit of a squash zone between the high and the low. So southerly winds coming through on Monday will drop temperatures just a little bit in the North Island. But by Tuesday, in comes that next high from Australia. So it's messy over here with a cold front for Adelaide and later on Melbourne. But for New Zealand, the southerlies fade out on the eastern side. So yes, a few showers on Tuesday in the east and a couple of showers on the western side from Auckland northwards. Nothing much, still mostly dry. Both New Zealand and Australia basically lean drier than average for the next 7 days ahead. So Wednesday of next week, Fieldays at Mystery Creek near Hamilton, perfect weather with high pressure dominating the country. The downside might be some fog here and there for the airports if you're flying there. So go to ruralweather.co.nz. We've got New Zealand's only fog forecaster. It's pretty accurate too. More than, I think, about 93% accurate. So if you're booking or you're planning your trip, make sure you check the Rural Weather Fog Forecaster. It's free to look at. Just helpful. There will be some fog we expect around Mystery Creek and Hamilton Airport, but it should burn off as we go through the morning. And you can see, by the way, that colder change coming through for Australia. So by Thursday of next week, our final map, very much autumn-like still across the southern part of Australia with those windy westerlies. For New Zealand, by the end of next week, here's a little change. It's going to warm back up again. Northerly winds coming in. It's been a while since we've had some northerlies nationwide. We've had, after 2 months of having them, we've had a break for the last couple of weeks with more southerlies, but that is about to end at the end of next week. Northerly winds coming down on the back of this high, and they'll be subtropical potentially. We can't completely lock this in, and more high pressure over Australia. So you can certainly see the positive Indian Ocean dipole and the El Nino starting to build, which is drying conditions out in Australia. The Indian Ocean dipole, it's basically like the La Nina and El Nino of the Indian Ocean over there, and that's producing similar dry conditions for Australia from both sides, and that may also impact the South Island of New Zealand, because some of the biggest rainmakers we get dropping down from the western side of Australia get caught up in that windy westerly. So a bit of a change in our weather pattern from where we've been at the start of the year, but it is still a neutral, chaotic weather pattern for our part of the world. It's not being dominated yet by El Nino, but you can certainly see it developing with this big increase in westerlies and high pressure. That's all from me. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Sunday with a special update for Mystery Creek. Otherwise, our normal videos return on Monday. We'll see you then.